2024 Renault Symbioz C-Segment and 2024 Nissan Qashqai are both compact SUVs that are expected to be closely matched competitors. Here's a side-by-side comparison to help you decide which one might be a better fit for you. Engine: Renault Symbioz 1.6-liter 4-cylinder gasoline engine with a 48 horsepower electric motor and a 1.2 kWh battery for a combined 143 horsepower. Nissan Qashqai, several engine options are expected, including a traditional gasoline engine, a mild hybrid option, and possibly a plug-in hybrid option. Specific details about the engines have not yet been announced by Nissan. Fuel economy: Renault Symbioz: Renault estimates that the Symbioz will achieve up to 56 miles per gallon in combined driving. Nissan Qashqai: fuel economy estimates for the Qashqai have not yet been released. However, based on the fuel economy of the previous generation Qashqai, we can expect the new model to achieve around 28 to 34 miles per gallon in combined driving. Cargo space: Renault Symbioz 492 liters to 624 liters depending on rear seat configuration. Nissan Qashqai 408 liters. Technology: Renault Symbioz Google infotainment system is standard on all models. Nissan Qashqai: Nissan's latest infotainment system is expected to be offered in the Qashqai. Details about the system have not yet been announced. Price: Renault Symbioz: pricing for the Symbioz has not yet been announced. However, it is expected to be priced competitively with other compact SUVs in its class. Nissan Qashqai: pricing for the Qashqai has not yet been announced. However, it is also expected to be priced competitively with other compact SUVs in its class. Overall, the Renault Symbioz is a new hybrid SUV that is expected to offer good fuel economy and a spacious cargo area. The Nissan Qashqai is a well-established compact SUV that is expected to offer a variety of engine options and a comfortable ride. Ultimately, the best choice for you will depend on your individual needs and preferences. Here are some additional factors to consider when making your decision. Availability: the Renault Symbioz is not expected to go on sale until later in 2024. The Nissan Qashqai is expected to go on sale earlier in 2024. Brand loyalty: if you are already a fan of one brand or the other, you may be more likely to choose that brand's SUV. Test drive: the best way to decide which SUV is right for you is to take a test drive of both the Renault Symbioz and the Nissan Qashqai. New Renault Symbioz is family-focused hybrid SUV for £30,000. The new Renault Symbioz completes the expansion of the brand's lineup in the crucial SUV C-segment and is designed to evoke the spirit of the 1960s 16 saloon and the 1980s E-Space by focusing on practicality. The new hybrid will sit between the smaller Captur, alongside which it was developed, and larger Austral in the French firm's combustion engine car lineup, making it a direct rival to the Nissan Qashqai. Nissan's compact Qashqai SUV rolls into 2024 with no changes, save for the addition of a new hybrid Hero model. Having touched down locally well after its European debut, the Qashqai is a steady seller in a very competitive corner of the new car market, although Nissan would no doubt like stronger supply to help it fight the Mazda CX-30 and Hyundai Kona on the VFACTS sales charts. On paper, the Qashqai has all the makings of a fan favorite. It's sharp to look at, has a powerful turbocharged engine under the bonnet, and packs plenty of space into its cabin despite a city-sized exterior. It's even fun to drive. Are we missing something, or does the Qashqai deserve more love from Australian new car buyers in 2024? It's purposefully practical in design terms, in contrast with Renault's electric cars. And while the French firm has revived classic names such as the Megane, 5, 4 and Twingo for future EVs, the Symbioz name is new to the range. It has only previously been used on a 2017 electric concept that was focused on autonomous driving. The Qashqai. The horrible plastic steering wheel in the ST Plus, sitting below this STL in the range, has been turfed in favor of a leather-trimmed unit, which is also a big step in the right direction. The rest of the main touch points are solid. The seats are trimmed in quality-feeling suede, with leather bolsters, and offer more support than in the old car where it always felt like you were perched on crates, while the view out is more SUV than high riding hatch. Nissan's decision to fit a heated steering wheel and heated seats pays dividends on cold Melbourne mornings, and heated cloth seats are a rare, but winning, combination. Paula Fabregat, Renault's small car design chief, called the Symbioz as more rational and less emotional than the firm's new EVs, adding, "The 5 Super Mini is an amazing object, this is an amazing answer." She added the focus to develop a car that was a very good answer for a lot of families helped determine the boxy shape of the Symbioz, although she added that it was a sexy box. The infotainment system is much better than the low-res, low-tech touchscreen that served in the last Qashqai. It now has wireless Apple CarPlay, reasonably attractive graphics, and sharp responses. It's very functional, although it's still not on a par with the uber-modern Hyundai Kona's setup. We'd also love to see Nissan roll out its full digital instrument binnacle across the range. The regular trip computer is fine, but it's nothing more, and the Qashqai's rivals, along with its corporate cousins at Renault, offer higher tech options for similar money. There's plenty of storage up front, with deep cup holders and a slot beneath the dashboard. You also get a decent bin under the central armrest and spacious door pockets. While the machine was imagined as a family car, Renault will also target fleet buyers due to its efficient hybrid powertrain, and it anticipates the business market could account for 40% of UK sales. The Symbioz sits on the same CMFB platform that's used by ICE Renaults such as the Clio Super Mini and Arkana Coupe SUV. It was developed alongside the Captur, but is intended to fill a different market gap. The Qashqai access to the rear comes courtesy of doors that open to 90 degrees, which anyone loading a child will appreciate. The wide opening makes it easier to get child seats in without painful contortion, and bigger adults are more easily able to clamber in if required. Once in, there's above-average levels of legroom and headroom. Also handy are the dual USB ports and air vents, along with the central fold-down armrest. It's a very usable space, more in line with a Kia Seltos than the outgoing Kona. We carried a carload of fully grown adults without too much trouble, and you'll be able to get kids in the back seat without many complaints. The middle seat is still for emergencies though. Isofix points feature on the outboard rear seats, and there's a trio of top tether points for child seats. Quoted boot space STL is 429 liters with the rear seats in place, expanding to 1524 liters with them folded. The Symbioz is 4,413 mm long, 1,797 mm wide, and 1,575 mm high. For comparison, the Captur is 4,227 mm long, while the larger Austral measures 4,510 mm. The Symbioz is broadly an equivalent to the electric Scenic, which measures 4,470 mm. The shared development with the Captur can be seen from the near-identical front design, the only difference being the pattern worked into the grille. As with other new Renault models, many of the design details reflect the diagonal shape of Renault's logo. Power in the Qashqai STL comes from a 1.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine, making 110 kilowatts of power and 250 Nm of torque. It's hooked up to the front wheels, rather than all-wheel drive, and the only transmission on offer is a CVT. Claimed fuel economy is 6.1 liters per 100 kilometers, but we saw 8.0 L/100 km over a week skewed to city driving. The Qashqai has a 55-liter fuel tank, and drinks 95 RON Premium unleaded. The Symbioz. While the front is nearly identical, the designers had more freedom with the rest of the car, creating flowing side panels and a bespoke rear end that includes sculpted lights featuring a 3D ice cube effect. Entry-level cars sit on 18 inches wheels, pricier ones get 19s. The cabin features the same dashboard as the Captur, which includes a portrait-oriented 10.4 inches touchscreen running Renault's Google-based OpenR Link infotainment system. The rear seats can slide 160 mm backwards, meaning they can offer up to 221 mm of knee room or expand the boot capacity from 492 liters to an impressive 624, which rises to 1582 with those 60/40 split seats folded down. The latest Qashqai is a far more polished performer than its breathless predecessor. The turbocharged engine fires quietly, and the fact Nissan has opted for a CVT instead of the dual clutch that features in Renault and Mercedes-Benz vehicles with the same engine, which makes it smoother around town. Rather than hesitating or jerking off the line, it feels conventional, slurring around town inoffensively and making fake gear shifts to do a convincing torque converter impression. There's a hint of turbo lag off the mark, but it's easy to drive around, and once you're up and running, the extra torque relative to the naturally aspirated model before it is welcome when you put your foot down. In the UK, the range-topping iconic Esprit Alpine model will be offered with a solar bay sunroof, which uses automatically tinting electrochromic glass in place of a blind. This is currently offered only on the electric Scenic. The Symbioz will be offered with a total of 29 driver assistance systems, including rear automatic emergency braking and even a safety coach. As in the Scenic, a magic button can activate or deactivate up to 6 customized ADAS. At launch, the sole powertrain option will be Renault's E-Tech full hybrid 145 system, which combines a 1.6-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine, a multimodal automatic gearbox, 2 electric motors and a 1.2 kWh battery to offer up to 145 brake horsepower and official fuel economy of 61.4 miles per gallon. Renault claims that it is capable of running on electric power around 80% of the time in city driving. The system is largely identical to that in the Captur E-Tech, including an eSave button that will maintain the battery charge. Renault highlights the comparatively light weight of the Symbioz, at just under 1,500 kilograms, as being key to its efficiency. The Qashqai. We've praised the ST Plus with its smaller wheels for its ride comfort, and the STL on its 19-inch wheels isn't quite as refined on pockmarked city streets. Still, it does a good job smoothing out the sharpest lumps and bumps in the city, and doesn't feel too terse or sporty. The trade-off is keen handling. Combined with quick steering off-center, the suspension tune means you can really throw the Qashqai around and it'll go with you. Outside the city, there's very little wind noise in the cabin to ruin the serenity. You do get a hint of road roar from the tires on typical Australian country highways, however, which isn't uncommon in small cars aimed predominantly at the European market. Although it's slightly noisier than is ideal, the Qashqai is nicely settled at higher speeds. It has a big car feeling, settling down in a way that inspires confidence. Like its rivals, think Hyundai Kona, it's grown up for this generation and is now more comfortable than ever away from the confines of the city. Nissan's suite of ProPilot driver assists, which includes active lane centering and adaptive cruise on the highway, is smartly calibrated. It smoothly maintains a gap to the car in front, and the lane keeping feels confident enough to intervene when required, but clever enough to stay hands-off when not required.